Hello, my wonderful people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on your time zone or anytime you are coming across my platform. If it is your first time and you like what I'm doing in this platform, after watching, kindly subscribe, put on your notification bell to all notifications. In that way, you'll be able to know when we upload a new video. YouTube, I want to appreciate you for creating this platform for us to use to disseminate information. And I also want to put a disclaimer to all the content in Linda's TV show that we do not promote hate speech, violent or misleading information. Linda's TV show is here to inform, educate the members of the public. We do not instigate war. I don't like war. I don't like violence. I don't like misleading information. So you will never see me promoting.
You know, we operate in a joint operation. Jointness is what we operate on now, which means everybody has a role to play. The army has air, because you understand that we have the army aviation have been established. The air force has its own, and the drones are also, these are enablers that we use for modern warfare. And so the pilots are well trained and well prepared for the operation. I just want to remind individuals that it is a war we're fighting. And mistakes, we make mistakes. As human beings, we all make mistakes, and this is just one of them. It was not deliberate. They were on after receiving an information on the threat of attack within the general area, and they followed up and they saw the threat of individuals moving similarly, just the way the terrorists also move, and then they went to congregate under a tree, just the way it is. And I think from there they felt it was time for them to act, and then they reacted. It was based on intelligence, but I think they just missed it. And we just want to convey to Nigerians to understand that mistakes are human, and it is highly regrettable. And we will make amends. I will ensure that we look back and see where these mistakes came from, and then to be able to make sure that we get them properly and to avoid such mistakes. It is our duty to protect civilians, not to harm them, especially our own citizens. It is highly unfortunate. This is what we call similarly to blue on blue, when you hit your own inadvertently, and it is highly regrettable.
General Christopher Musa, thank you. The Iowa Forum for Good Governance is beginning to make statements against you. That group is saying that they're accusing you of conniving with the Nigerian army against certain people that you think are not of your ethnicity in Kaduna State, to attack them. This is a direct and a heavy allegation against you. How do you react to this?
Well, I think it's highly unfortunate, and you always understand that when situations like this happen, emotions run very high, and then people tend to have different emotions in how they react to issues. But it's highly unfortunate, it's highly regrettable. It's an ongoing operation that has been on for a long while, and we're trying to make sure that we put in our best to ensure that we defeat the terrorists, and mistakes do happen. Nothing has to do with tribe, religion, ethnicity, or this or that. It's, anybody who has that kind of thought, I think it's not being truthful, it's not being sincere about it. That community has both Christians and Muslims within the community, so it is not even just one tribe, and we have tribes from other areas that are also farming within the general area. So sometimes when people don't have full information, they tend to react differently to it. But the community is not totally one ethnic group or one religion. We have it's just like normal Nigerian communities. It's a mixture of Christians, Muslims, people from different tribes that are within that community. And unfortunately, this happened. We are professional soldiers. We don't take sides whether which area you come, which zone you come from. We look at these things and deal with it dispassionately. This is a grave mistake that is regrettable, and we will take measures to ensure that it is being addressed.
That's
This will help me to know the level of expertise that I need to put on the table in conducting the inquiry into what happened on Sunday, so that that inquiry can come up with relevant recommendations that will guide us in the conduct of our operations with our actions, because these criminals, we must defeat them by violence. So we are going to continue fighting the criminals till we succeeded on fighting against banditry and other criminalities in this country. Therefore, it is just an opportunity incident that happens, and God has already destined that this will happen, and it has happened. All we need is to pray for the deceased who already gone. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless them with those and for those in the hospital.
Try this kind of incident, Prof.
Every Nigerian, every human being is saddened by what we saw. My description is, it's not acceptable. This is totally irresponsible. This is not the first time. We've had such incidences in Borno State, Nasarawa State recently. We've had incidents in Benue State. We've had such incidences in Katsina State, and now in Kaduna State, the home state of the Chief of Defense Staff. Each time we hear the military telling us it was a mistake, regrettable. Our military killing our people instead of protecting our people. A time of war, when our people are suffering, bandits are killing us all over the land, the military is dropping ordnance on our people. It's not acceptable. What this has shown, number one, is clear incompetence. You have a young operative somewhere sitting, watching a screen, and then just dropping a bomb on people, predominantly women and children.
It's an unmanned air.
Yeah, but somebody did it. Yeah, somebody was managing it
remotely.
Absolutely. It didn't come from the sky or from Niger or anywhere. Drones are controlled. Somebody must take responsibility, and it shows incompetence, it shows lack of training, and it shows lack of supervision in the military. Who gave this young operative order to press that button to drop a bomb? Who did? We are dropping a bomb on human beings, predominantly women and children. We have seen clips, videos of this family, of these children and women before, and we saw them charred in this bomb. They should not be bombing people, they should go and be bombing Sambisa Forest.
Have you heard the side of the Nigerian the defense headquarters, what they said about this? The defense headquarters has said it is regrettable, and the fact that the military views these, that every civilian death in the course of operation is a tragedy, and such tragedies are needless and unwanted, and which causes the armed forces to take extensive measures to avoid them. They went further to say, for instance, communities are to always alert troops of the activities, particularly when such a community is known to be infested with terrorists and their sympathizers. They are saying that oftentimes there are embedding of terrorists within some of these communities. Doesn't this make the work of the military difficult?
This irritates everybody, and it should. Where is the military intelligence? What intelligence did they use to drop bombs on people? Do they think they're going to win this war on banditry just by dropping bombs from the sky?
They say that it should be noted that terrorists often deliberately embed themselves within civilian population centers for the civilian population to bear the consequences of their atrocities.
Right. For goodness sake, the military, whoever is writing this, they should take him off. This is a time when sensible, reasonable people should be talking. The military should completely own this tragedy and not be given excuses. These are excuses that we have no patience for. These are excuses. Whoever is writing that and sending it out should be removed from office. The military leadership should be more responsible to people in grief than that statement. That statement is saying is the fault of the people. No, it isn't. It's the fault of the military, it's the fault of the army specifically, because the Air Force came out the first time and disowned them and said in the last 24 hours they did not conduct any operation. It is the army, the air wing of the army that botched this operation, that killed our people. And they must take full responsibility. And my call to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the military cannot investigate itself, because it has not investigated itself in all the massacres it has conducted.
If you are to advise, or if you are to say the kind of and the manner in which the investigation should go or take, what would you do?
Independent of the military. All the bombs they've dropped on people over the last, in all the 5 states they did, what came of it in the investigation? I am calling on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to institute a high-powered, independent investigative committee headed by a retired Chief Justice of the Federation. And in that committee, there should be a retired Chief of Service Chief, and an emir, the traditional clerics, and CSOs to protect civilians. The military is supposed to protect us, not be killing us. And let me say this only vindicates the concern international community has been having about Nigerian army. You remember during the time of Jonathan? They stopped selling weapons, lethal weapons to the Nigerian armed forces because of this. And we are seeing this. The world is watching. You are dropping bombs on innocent women and children, going on a religious procession. The military is threading on very, very thin ice. Very, very thin ice. This is, religion comes into this, we are dousing. Traditional rulers, clerics are now talking to people. This is a religious procession. Can Nigerians understand what would have happened if a Christian procession in Plateau or Kaduna was bombed? Big churches from the south specifically would have raised their voices all over Nigeria today. We need to be very, very careful. The military should know better. You become a general to think better than a captain. This is irresponsible.
I mean, in other crimes, if this kind of situation happens, what do you think would have?
They will all resign. Everybody in the chain of command will be fired. The CDS, Chief of Defense Staff, everybody will go. And the president would have cut his trip, come back home and see our people. But here you are apologizing. Where are the ministers? You are going to talk to the Minister of Communication. No, you should be talking to the Ministers of Defense. You should be talking to the NSA. You should be talking to the service chiefs to explain to Nigerians why this happened and what are they going to do to prevent this. But the army cannot investigate itself. There should be a high-powered, independent committee headed by a retired CJN. And in there should be a service chief. What we need to see is thorough investigation to see what is the assessment, who gave this young operative the order to fire, what's the chain of command, what is the supervisory control. There is no control.
Can you hold a chief of army staff, a general in the army, for the error that is being made by a group in a particular division that carried out this kind of attack? How do you hold? What sense will it mean?
That's why he's the chief of army staff. You're in control of this studio, and anything that happens, you are responsible. And they need to understand, leaders have forfeited the right to make excuses. And this has been the excuses they've given us. You are the chief of army staff, 3-star general, over and above many officers, for a very good reason. You give orders and you take responsibility. Who asked this young
Resign or step aside?
All of them should go. The CDS, the chief of army staff, the GOC, the operative heads must roll. And whoever gave this authority, and there is no chain of command, if there is laxity in the chain of command, which I'm very sure there is, nowhere in the country would a young operative sit down before his screen and just press a button to drop a bomb and kill over 100 people without escalating that to the
Let's imagine what is going on in the mind of the young fellow who triggered the UAV, who fired that bomb. Perhaps what we're seeing on the screen was a movement of the possible terrorists who they said have merged into these communities, and there are traces, there are historically how these terrorist elements have infested these areas and merged into the communities. Is it possible that some of these terrorists are so sly to the extent to have tricked our forces into this kind of mistake?
This is stupid excuses that we have no patience for.
Just imagine.
No.
Just reading the mind.
Let me tell you
what the possibility.
That is the reason you should have intelligence on the ground.
Before taking a shot.
That young man sitting there doing that, he doesn't do it on his own. There has to be intelligence on the ground. They escalate to the big bosses. The big boss will ask him to do what he did. That is why only an independent committee, not within the military, can bring this out. The military cannot investigate itself, and we should not allow it to investigate itself. And the military, especially the army, it has shown its inexperience in all of this. It should suspend all drone activities until this is fully investigated.
Is this a setback of some sort?
Absolutely.
On the assault on terrorism in Nigeria?
So now we are talking. We have been talking the new service chiefs since they have come. They've been singing the same old song we've had over the last 8 years. But we have not seen any new ideas or plans to do anything differently. None.
But there are those who say there is a lull in some of the terrorist activities within the Northwest.
Well, we know better. We know better. And we've said it again and we'll repeat it again. Banditry is cannot be won on the battlefield. Anybody who says that does not know what he's doing, or he knows he's disingenuous. Back to this problem. This problem is sad, is tragic, and people should be held responsible. From the Chief of Defense Staff, who is the top military officer, to the Chief of Army Staff, to the GOC, down the rank.
If you were President Tinubu, what would you do today?
Today, like I said, I will institute a high-powered investigative committee headed by a retired Chief Justice of the Federation.
Would you get on the ground yourself?
Pardon?
Would you get on the ground yourself?
Me as
if you were the president?
Absolutely. President Biden will go anywhere. As the president of the strongest country in the world. But our president just sit down there and just keep issuing affirmation by this thing. You need to be there. You need to talk with people.
85 persons.
And more. No, it's more.
These are mothers. These are young girls.
These are children.
These are people, children.
These are children.
These are people's families. These are people who have future ahead of them.
Yes. And the army,
all of a sudden.
And the army is telling us they are infiltrated. Do not annoy us. You've annoyed us. You've killed enough people. Do the right thing. Accept responsibility, step back, and allow full investigation. Suspend all drone activities within that theater of operation. And Mr. President, we call on you to institute a high-powered committee headed by a retired Chief Justice of the Federation. There should be a retired service chief in there, amens and treasurer. This is taking religious dimension that we're asking people to calm down. Traditional rulers are working really hard. Clerics are working really hard. This was a religious procession. that was bombed, innocent people, women and children, and the clips are all over the world. And the world is watching. The world is watching. Who will sell lethal arm to Nigerian armed forces when they are dropping it on their people?
Prof, so sad, a sad day, a sad scenario, and this, the military said, is perhaps the deadliest in any of the bomb accident that we've seen in this country. So sad. I'm hoping that a drastic decision and action will be taken to forestall any kind of recurrence. Thanks so much, Prof.
Thank you so much, my wonderful viewers, for watching this video together with me from the beginning to the end. Like I said before, if you like what you see here, if you like what I do in this platform, as you have finished watching this video, please hit that red button that says subscribe and put on your notification bell to all notification. In that way, you'll be able to know when I upload a new video. Share my videos, leave your comments in the comment section constructively. Until I meet your way again in my next video, I still remain your Linda's TV show. Bye-bye.